Perhaps you've got a family. You need a big boot for all the shopping, perhaps a pram or two, and perhaps Fido needs space when he goes to the vet. Well, you go for a small SUV, right? Well, not necessarily, because don't forget the good old estate car. Cars like the Hyundai i30 Tourer.
The latest i30 Tourer is much sleeker and better looking than the previous model, which is good because it has to compete with other good-looking small estates like the Seat Leon ST and the Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer. And yet, just like our class favourite, the Skoda Octavia estate is also quite unassuming and concentrates on being as spacious and as practical as possible.
Now the i30 may be more handsome to look at on the outside, but on the inside there's very little to get wowed by. It's not that Hyundai's done anything wrong, because the quality is absolutely fine. There's lots of soft touch plastics dotted around the cabin and it all feels very well put together. It's just the design is just so boring. It's just a sea of black plastic. There is, however, quite a bit of storage. Down here we've got a space for your phone. There's a USB charging port, an aux in, and on this particular car we've got a wireless charging pad as well. A couple of cup holders here, a little space for something else. Under here there's a large cubby with a 12-volt socket. The glove box is of a very good size as well, and the door bins pass the Carbuyer big bottle test.
Equipment levels are good on the Tourer. Entry-level S gets alloys, cruise control, DAB radio and the 1-litre petrol engine only. Moving up to SE adds a colour touchscreen, a rear-view camera and electrically operated seats, plus access to the 2 diesel engines. SE Nav gets the 8-inch touchscreen with sat-nav, plus Android Auto, Apple CarPlay and wireless phone charging. Premium features heated front seats and dual-zone climate control, while our car, the range-topping Premium SE, gets leather seats, a panoramic glass sunroof and a heated steering wheel. Every i30 Tourer also gets auto-dimming headlights, lane-keeping assistance and autonomous emergency braking.
Back here, and space is pretty average for the class, so I've got pretty decent knee room. It's not fantastic, but it's just okay. That seat is set up for my cameraman. He's 6'2", I'm just over 5'10", and I've got just enough space. Headroom is okay, even though we've got the panoramic sunroof, it's okay. You can just about fit 3 adults back here. It is a bit of a push, but one thing that does help is this pretty low central area here where you can put your feet. We've also got an armrest here with 2 cup holders, and what's quite neat actually is a little ski hatch as well. The rear doors open nice and wide, quite wide for a car of this size actually, which allows those child seats in very easily. Talking of children, they're also easy to reach ISOFIX points in both of the outer seats. Round to the boot, and this is where the i30 Tourer really does come into its own, because it's got one of the largest boots in the class. Lift up the tailgate and you can see there is a vast amount of space on offer. It's also very square, very flat, and there's no load lip at all. But with the i30 Tourer, it's all about the little details. Under here, there's some nice bit of storage. Over here, we've got some more storage. Over here, we've got some more storage. Can you see the trend here? Lift up this little flap, and there's a large tray to put all your little oddments in. And if you lift up the tray, there is a space saver spare wheel as well. That's a really nice touch, isn't it? And that's not all, because the i30 Tourer gives so much more. Over here, we've got a space for the guard, which if you lift it up, it allows your dog not to fly through the cabin when you brake really sharply. It's just really, really nice details which mark out the i30 Tourer from its rivals.
Under the bonnet there are just 2 petrols and 2 diesels. The 1.4 petrol with 138 bhp offers welcome extra punch over the entry-level 1-litre petrol, particularly when the car is heavily laden. There are 108 bhp and 134 bhp versions of the 1.6-litre diesel, with the most powerful version only coming with a dual-clutch automatic gearbox.
We've got the 1.4 turbocharged petrol engine here, and just like the 1.6 diesels, this is the best engine option to go for if you're going to be lugging around children, luggage and all their paraphernalia. It does feel very smooth, very refined and very quiet. However, it doesn't feel particularly fast despite the addition of that turbocharger. It does feel quite flat, and you really do have to work this gearbox to actually make any progress. Now, if you're not going to be lugging around lots of luggage all of the time, I would recommend you having a look at the 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol. Because of those 3 cylinders, it feels just a lot more revvy. It feels a lot more eager to actually get going.
The 1 litre is the most frugal of the petrols, returning a claimed 54.3 mpg and 115 grams per kilometre of CO2, but the 1.4 petrol isn't that far behind. Unsurprisingly, it's the least powerful diesel that's the cheapest to run, with its 74.3 mpg and CO2 emissions of just 99 grams per kilometre. The i30 Tourer's priorities are practicality, space and safety, so it won't be a big surprise to hear that it's not a hugely dynamic car to drive. Even the most powerful engines in the range don't endow it with true pace, and the steering isn't very engaging either.
The Hyundai i30 Tourer isn't the most thrilling small estate car to drive. If you want a pants-on-fire kind of driving experience, I would recommend looking at the Seat Leon ST or even the rather ageing Ford Focus Estate. There's nothing inherently wrong with the i30 Tourer. It does feel very comfortable, very refined, but the steering is very rubbery, the gearbox is a little bit notchy, and the whole car just doesn't feel particularly up for being thrown around on a country lane. In all honesty, I'm probably being a little bit too hard on the i30 because, let's face it, it's a small estate car, and really it isn't a B-road bashing type of car, is it? Settle down and stop driving around as though your trousers literally are on fire, and the i30 Tourer does settle down to be a nice, refined and comfortable Tourer. It does feel a very honest kind of car, and a car that will offer years of dutiful service.
The Hyundai i30 Tourer is now an attractive estate car, as well as one that is practical, comfortable and economical. Neither the interior nor the driving dynamics will set pulses racing, but in the most important ways, the i30 Tourer is a very competent family estate, and one that is very safe too. If you're considering this type of car, the Hyundai should be on your shortlist. Click the window to watch me testing the Vauxhall Astra Sports Tourer and on our Estate Cars playlist, and click the Carbuyer logo to subscribe to our channel.